R.I.P. Camila.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Queen PR. You know, we're back, those wrestling girls. I'm back with my crew. So first off, I just want to we had a lot of loss this week actually in wrestling. But this show is in honor of our dear friend, Cammy, who we just found out passed away unexpectedly. And, you know, we love you, Cammy. So we wanted to do this show in her honor. Those that don't know who Cammy was, she was a very positive light in the internet wrestling community. I'm gonna really try not to get emotional, but she will be missed. I'm so glad Rakasha's in the chat because she knows Cammy. So I'm just gonna have a vulnerable moment because she did mean a lot to a lot of people, and I hate that our platform had to be the one to deliver such sad news. But I know a lot of people were wondering where she was after she didn't tweet for a while. And you know, I think it's important to honor Cammy because it's a reminder of just how present we are, even in an online community. I never met Cammy, but she was a special friend to us and to a lot of people. And we're going to do the show in her honor. She loved wrestling. She was a dedicated educator. She was a creative writing professor. And Bakersfield College is actually honoring her with a scholarship. So I will post that link in the chat at some point. So please donate in her memory. So we're going to, so it's a couple things I don't want to do for the show in her honor. And one thing she never did was acknowledge the tribal chief.
Oh boy.
I was not her tribal chief at all. And I loved talking to her about that because he was the hottest thing. And she was just like, no, she was Team Jay Uso at the time. So we are, you know, for this episode, I'm sorry, guys, we're not going to acknowledge Roman Reigns. We're just not in her honor. And she also was a big advocate for Black women in wrestling. She was a huge Naomi fan. And she advocated for Naomi all the time. And she was just a very bright person in what can be a very toxic environment, which was wrestling Twitter. So we love you, Cammy. We're going to do a watch party. In her honor, we're gonna watch Royal Rumble 2020, the women's match. She one of her favorite moments. It's her pinned tweet was Naomi coming back, and so we're gonna watch that match. And so if you do want to get invited to that, DM us. We'll send you the link. But to lighten the mood, I want to welcome my crew.
What up?
So I want to quickly shout out Women's
Hi.
Wrestling Talk. I just came off their live, and that was shout out to Ella J, Mr. Professor. It was just it was an amazing experience, as always. So show them some love, and it was a great way to kick off, you know, a show that I knew was going to have a different tone. But we are going to celebrate life from this point on the show. So how are you guys doing?
I'm good. Been, you know, it's Wednesday, so I'm feeling good though. You know, here with y'all, blessed, and I'm ready. It's the road to WrestleMania. And when we on the road to WrestleMania, it can be twists, it can be turns. And as y'all said earlier on Women's Wrestling Talk, this does not feel like a filler pay-per-view at all. You go
really
back,
doesn't.
there's been a lot of history, a lot of changes. You think back to No Way Out back in 2001 when it was The Rock who beat Kurt Angle and changed the face of WrestleMania, where we got Rock Austin 2. You think back to Elimination Chamber 2017 when Naomi won the championship and nobody saw it coming. And so it's just so much. So I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about the show tonight.
Same. And it doesn't feel like a filler. There were qualifying matches. So I think this is going to be one of those pay-per-views. We'll get into that. How are you?
Live events.
I know. It's a habit. It's such a habit. It's going to be. I don't think I'll ever say that.
Hold on. That shirt, though.
I love that. I actually love that shirt. I love that. You finally got it. That's like a check one off your list because you've been trying to get that for a long ass time. It looked cute on you, though, girl. Look cute on you, girl.
I mean, I'm not from Brooklyn, but
Listen, you a New Yorker. At the end of the day, you repping all.
Me and Letty was living that sweet life last.
We got to get you a Bronx 316 shirt made. I think that's
I know, right?
An initiative going forward.
Seriously, I love your shirt though. You got the. We were just talking about that shirt.
Facts.
It's okay.
Funny. I'm glad I didn't grab mine because it was definitely like, wait.
If y'all would have both popped up with that shirt, I would have.
Yo, no way. I've been trying to. My joke was.
Oh no, she froze.
Yeah,
I feel. all four of us.
What was that?
I said I feel like I had this dream where we were all twinning. Like all three of us had the exact same shirt. And you know what shirt it was? Ironically, is the shirt that Brian has. So at one point in time, I feel like at one point in time we will end up twinning.
So I do got like two of those.
My daughter had hers on, and I said, I actually need to put mine on. It's on my Instagram. I just posted it in my stories, but I said, I actually need to change shirts. She said, why can't you wear the one you had on earlier? I said, because I don't want to. I want to, the queen, the CEO, I said, we're going to call
her. The GOAT is wrestling this weekend.
Yes.
He finally wrestles after, 9 months?
But look,
the same time as making a baby, she's wrestling.
That's all good and fine. But the main thing too is we support it For Your Wear. So shout out to For Your Wear, where you can get those wrestling girls shirt. You can get Breaking Through Glass Ceiling shirt, as Justin is showing you if you're watching on the Twitch right now. You can also get the Wrestling Club, who was in the building with Queen PR at Raw this past Monday. So you get all your favorite content creators. Go ahead and support them. You got to wear clothes anyway. Wear our stuff.
Look at all this advertisement. I love advertisement every once a week. We love it. We love it here on the fan club.
I know.
I just want to see people rocking the merch.
Segues. I do want to also shout out Mr. Perry and the Wrestling Club and all the wrestlers that visited that school at KIP.
They had a busy ass Monday.
Oh my God, dude. And you know, it's funny. I was like, and it's funny because Big E doesn't really do Instagram stories, but then I'm like surfing because it's like phone call day at work, so I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to whatever the fuck they're saying and just like scroll up my phone. And as soon as I see those kids yelling, I was like, oh my God! And my coworker looks at me and he's like, okay. And I'm just like, he went to this school, my God. And then I was searching for you because I'm like, okay, ain't no way in blue freaking hell that what I said was, I was like, I was searching for you. I know. But I was just like, okay. I was like, no, don't tell me she's not there. And then I saw your mom in one of the videos. And I was like, okay, she's got you there. Your mom is a GOAT at this point.
Everywhere. Like everywhere.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to mom. But it's funny, like Monday was one of those like really weird wrestling days where it's like you don't like that morning started out with me processing that my mom has a picture with Big E and I don't, and just being happy for the wrestling club, and then like preparing for like going to Raw at Barclay, which I've done a million times, but still it was an experience that was a first. And it was like the fact that wrestling could still have these days where like you it can still like blow your mind almost, where it's just like this is a day of being a wrestling fan. And it's just like, I don't know, I like days like that because it's like, oh, and I also have my Rock and Stone Cold Roosevelt button up that I kept getting compliments on because everybody recognizes the Rock Stone Cold. So like, oh my God, is that? Because they're like, oh, I like your shirt. And then they're like, oh, is that? And I'm like, oh yeah, like, oh my God, so cute. So that was cool on Monday. But you know, our Charlotte series is out. And part 3 is dropping on Monday. So I'm kind of like a little sad to be ending this series, to be honest with you, because like we've said, it's been a pleasure going back on her career, especially now. But I need everyone to tell me who we should cover next. We're trying to decide between like Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Mandy Rose. I don't know. So we'll put a poll out there on Twitter. We'll see.
I would love to see a series on Carmella.
Me too.
Me too. Right?
Me too.
I think that's one that will also us where we'll go back and we'll be like, oh, okay, like she, you know, she did all of that.
That cash-in was epic.
Yes, and like, you know, that character, she gets better. So yeah, I think that convinced me. I think we're gonna do Carmella. So Krista B. Let's do that. But of course, you know, she's going live on Twitch on Friday, every Friday with CRISTINA, 3 p.m. Krista B sounds off, and I'm sure she has a lot to sound off about. So make sure you guys tune into that. And we've been doing TWG Classic weekly on Twitch, which has been really fun. We've been restreaming our episodes and based on kind of what's going on. And it's a really fun way to introduce our episodes to new people and then just like watch the evolution of the show. I really miss being in the studio. So make sure you check that out. Friday, we have our, I want to say Jacqueline Spotlight streaming in honor of Black History Month. So make sure you check that out. And we have a lot coming. So we are excited for everything. And I'm excited to get into the show. So I'm going to take a break and get into it.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Krista B, one half of those wrestling girls, and we hope that you're enjoying this current episode that we have for you. You know I had to come in here and interject and plug ourselves real quick. We want to tell you about our merch exclusively on foryourwear.com. That's right, For Your Wear has all of those wrestling girls merch that you want and need, not only for yourself, but for your friends, your family, and your loved ones. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have tank tops. So please go over to foryourwear.com to make sure you get those exclusive merch, those exclusive deals, and tell them that TWG sent you.
Krista B might, you know, she might do a pop-up. Of course, you know how that goes. So I wanna get into what I think is the funniest shit on TV right now, and that is Rhea Ripley and Dom Mysterio.
First of all, if this is what when they tell you know your standards and know your worth, this is the bad side of all that. I could not stop laughing. No. We got to get into it.
It started from them walking in and him telling her that he made wine in prison. In the toilet. The fact that she said, I know you made wine. Like okay, I heard this before. So it's just comedy from like, and it's like, you're kind of surprised that Dom Mysterio is funny like this.
Yep.
We gotta have a conversation about Dom Mysterio at the next Latino gang meeting. Like, Ray, bro, every month your son is putting you in the blender on national TV. Like, what the fuck? ¿Qué pasa, Papa?
I'm starting to question the parenting skills here because, like, not for nothing, like, you want to skip out on a date? Your mother ain't teach you no better. You don't need no woman at the table with no money in her hand to date something, and then you go with, and then what kills me, you kick your daddy out the table, and then you try to use the credit card that you authorized on under your daddy.
You ain't hit that boy with a chancleta. You ain't get the belt. You ain't go get a switch.
Not even the chancleta. Not even the chancleta. What makes you think it's appropriate for you to use a card that you're authorized on? I would not. First of all, I would rather take myself out and go broke.
And
also, Love Warrior put it perfect. Chicken fingers, really? Chicken fingers.
What killed me is Rhea goes, yeah, with but we don't like spice with ketchup. We don't like spice.
Wait. Criminal record. See, this is the shit.
And then, mind you, he did a full Mike the Situation. If anybody watched Jersey Shore, like Mike the Situation went to jail, so every time he would hear a siren, he would run. As soon as he saw them 2 police officers come, he was like, "They know me. I got a record. I gotta go." And you leave her there. The audacity.
And then she had to pay.
Hold on. I'm pulling it up right now because Rhea actually tweeted. Give me 2 seconds. She tweeted about this because I'm letting the ladies talk with all due respect, but the other lady and the lady involved in this situation actually had something to say about this. So we're gonna show the tweet just so that y'all know I'm not, jumping on Dom's side and making this up. But hold on, it's coming up. Just give me a second.
We gotta,
we got to put it in the format. I said Dom. But here it is. The audacity of everyone getting caught up on me paying the bill and overlooking the point that Ray and Angie are self-centered. Don't be one of those girls that expect the man to always pay. Spoil your kings too. Dominic Mysterio 35. I understand your trauma and I got you.
The Nile is a river in Egypt. Your man is broke. Okay.
So I say that without an opinion. I just reading the content.
I guess God learned some other things in prison. Because Rhea is very happy, satisfied to be like, "Oh, don't worry, I got you. You got me later, right?"
There are little girls watching things like that, and they're gonna go on their first date and think it's okay for a man to just leave her there and have her take care of the bill. Well, and I want these little girls that are watching to know, fuck no.
I hope that they don't let and date an ex-con. Like
that too.
Because he did hard times.
He did
Brian, he did 12 hours. Stop it.
Look, man, y'all gotta listen to Corey Grace. Y'all gotta listen to Carmela's husband. He did hard times. It was hard.
He was in 20-minute solitary confinement. What hard times are we talking about? He didn't do Dusty Road hard times. So
I'm about to say, did Dom go to Gen Pop? Did you do a 23-hour lockdown? If you didn't, then it don't count.
It looked like it was a bad date from the start. I mean, who doesn't like some? I don't like raspberries. You don't like barbecue sauce. It almost chipped my tooth. God, mommy is the man at this point. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
mommy is the mommy and the poppy.
Mommy is getting tired of Dom because first of all, she left him there with Beth Phoenix to take that hard ass glam slam, and then you leave, and so I think it was revenge. I think because he had to take that, he left her dead at the table. Like, listen, I done suffered enough this week.
I mean, he's been in jail, so he's used to taking it.
If y'all remember, Jerry Lawler used to always say when there was Eddie Guerrero in China that Eddie wore the pants, but China told him which ones to wear. That's all that's happening in this situation.
Like that's a bar.
Oh, Jerry Lawler, shout out to him. We, obviously hope he is still recovering well, but Jerry Lawler is problematic he could be sometimes. He has some bars in the Attitude Era. But yeah, I think it's cool. Just the evolution. Rhea Ripley, we got to give her credit where credit is due. She is a star maker. Not only she can make stars in the women's division, but she has us like really interested in what Dominic Mysterio is doing. This doesn't work without her. Like when you look at all the stuff, the Judgment Day is cool, yeah, but if she wasn't a part of it, it would just okay, it would have got old. But they're funny, and these segments, like every single holiday, it's so much fun, and like you kind of want to see. I mean, what they gonna do for what's the next holiday? Memorial Day. What they gonna do then? What they gonna do? I
President's
mean,
Day
I
on Monday.
you know, what they gonna do for Easter, and then you know we already feeling like it's going to be Ray and Dominic at WrestleMania anyway. You know, is Rhea gonna get involved? You know, so who knows?
Yeah. Which I don't want to think too much about it, but I'm hoping that this isn't just a one-off for Beth, because every time she comes back, they do a little tag team feud. They have the pay-per-view match, and then she goes away. But like, I would love to see her carry on to Mania, and maybe even more.
I don't think, and that's the thing. I honestly think that this does carry on in some way, shape, or form with the title involved, right? I think obviously, I think Rhea wins the belt, and then I think we'll get that match because if I'm not mistaken, Beth says she's not retired or she's still available or something along those lines. I mean,
she's wrestling retired, but she's still available. Because I think what I'm seeing in the transition here and what I'm liking is, remember how Lita came back and now Lita is like a writer for some of the biggest matches. I'm thinking they're bringing in Beth Phoenix the same way, because I mean, one of the Triple H effects that's still left over, despite Stephanie's like exit, is he is bringing back the main players from back in the day to kind of coach the new. Her involvement with NXT, I feel like, is the biggest contribution to what we're seeing now from 2.0, because she was heavily involved in 2.0, like to the point where she produced the women's war game match. So I like that she even, you know, people want your legends back, and I get that, but like you realize like these, like Sean Helms, like all these people that have been backstage that were impacting in those eras that are impacted now, they're doing so much more better backstage. And I like that they can come back and still beat the shit out of the current. So I'm here for that. Because I'm excited about this match at Elimination Chamber.
And sometimes the best superstars aren't the best coaches, and then the best coaches weren't superstars. Like you look at a guy like Al Snow, right? And if you ever read Mick Foley's book, Have a Nice Day, it's always like these little subtle jabs at Al Snow throughout the book. Like he said, and Al Snow never beat me. Al Snow never beat me. But he's like one of the best coaches. You know what I mean? His contributions to the business. And so Beth Phoenix is one of the rare entities. You know, it's kind of like in sports too, where a great coach, like Michael Jordan wouldn't be a good coach. Magic Johnson wasn't a good coach. But say somebody, you know, like a Phil Jackson, bench player on the Knicks, and
look at what Monty Williams has done for the Phoenix Suns the last couple of years. You can't even remember what team Monty Williams has played for in his professional career, but he's coached the Suns to a finals, and they are one of the predominant teams in the Western Conference for the last 5-6 years. Like,
and then you look at what's going on with like the women. Look at Beth Phoenix, who was a superstar. It just reminds me real quick. It reminds me because I'm thinking about now her with the butterfly belt, because on the last episode of Those Wrestling Girls with Charlotte Part 2, they talked about, you know, the Divas belt and Charlotte wearing that and just not imagining Sasha or Becky with it. And I think we would have felt the same way with Beth Phoenix, but she took what was given to her and made the most out of it.
Made it work.
The only thing we didn't get really was her and Karma, and that's what really sucked, because that was the match.
Yeah, that was the one everybody wanted. And then even when you think about it, like shout out to Fit Finley, because Fit Finley wasn't great. Fit Finley wasn't like the guy that you plastered on like a commercial or put on a billboard, but look at how much he did for the women. Like, look at how much he did for the women. Look at what he worked with.
Like the biggest advocate.
Kelly would have still been like halfway taking off her clothes had he been like, you know what? I'm gonna turn chicken in from chicken shit to a great ass like pot pie. And she's a champion. Like, she can wrestle. He did what he did with that.
Thank you, because nobody gives Kelly her props.
She wrestled. Okay, right. I'm gonna give her credit where it's due. She might have been like, okay, Kelly, they listen. Hey, Ma. Like, I will never be like, oh my God, I'm such a Kelly fan. Yeah, like, I will never say that, but give credit where it's due. She did what she had to do.
Like somebody that was able to exist in that era, and still where, like, you know, like, you respect her. Like, that's not an easy line during that time.
Right.
So I definitely give Kelly her flowers. Hey, Mike. Another watch party day one. But it's funny because we talk about the butterfly belt a lot on our Charlotte episodes because it's very much like, and it's funny because now seeing Beth Phoenix hold that, like, it just doesn't seem right. Like it doesn't seem like it's like on the same level. But I would never, diminish the Divas division or the Divas era. We will see. That's the reason why we will. Because the fact that you say that we won't, and
what you started on,
oh Lord,
career on those wrestling girls, like that's not what we're not gonna do. No, so before Carmella, we're gonna do a Kelly spotlight too. She's not the she's not a Hall of Famer. It's Tori Wilson that's the Hall of Famer,
right? But Kelly, I think, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because of the Divas era is a era of wrestling. The fact is, we wasn't getting women's wrestling at all. If you look at the 90s, right? There was a gap between WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 10 where 2 through 9, no women's matches. And regardless of what, you got great women, you got good women's matches, you got good women's stories. Was it what we're getting now? No, but those women went out there, put their bodies on the line, and in 2 minutes told the best story that they could possibly tell. So I'm always gonna give them that prop.
And that's why I like it. It bothers me. Listen, I know it was a butterfly freaking belt. A lot of people, I feel like, and if we're gonna choose violence here, a lot of people I feel like are pissed at the butterfly belt because they took away the women's championship belt. Do y'all remember that? Because like, not for nothing, shout out to Layla and Michelle McCool because their run with that belt was one of the best runs with the women's belt because people weren't taking. Yeah, they split it because people weren't even taking the women's belt seriously. So they said, okay, we're gonna make it the Divas Championship because not for nothing, you fans don't really give two poo stains about it. So we're gonna make it a butterfly belt, and it didn't make them happy. Like it never made them happy. The term diva didn't make them happy, but you was buying them posters, you was going to the meet and greets, you was happy to see them on the red carpet, you was happy to see Eve Torres do the NASCAR with Kelly on her side, you was happy with Lay Cool, you was happy with Divas on NXT because not for nothing, people were watching the women's competition of NXT. Second highest rating after season 1.
Why we have to have platforms that still give respect to the sexy woman in wrestling because they get the most flack because they're hot. It's also like not easy to be hot either. So it's like you know what I'm saying? Like to
y'all make it look easy. Still, we wouldn't know. Me and Justin wouldn't know, but y'all make it look easy.
But y'all have to understand there's levels to this crap. The things that we go through as girls alone on this platform. Like if it wasn't for like, and a quick shout out, if it wasn't for people like Patricia and Krista and Janelle and the Mimis and the Jen Bees of the world, I wouldn't be able to know what's in, what's out, because these are women that have all given me advice since day freaking one on how to navigate starting to do stuff like this. But let me tell you the significant difference of how you and Justin could walk into a room, spit 5 facts, and be respected off the gate. Me and P can have a whole encyclopedia on wrestling, and they find some way in between to correct us. And that's what it was for the Divas. They were being critiqued on match being 5 minutes. Mind you, it's not in their control. Never been in their control, but they were critiqued about it, but never given the credit where it's due. They worked with what they had to work with. And that's what always gonna bother me, and respect on that.
And things happen for a reason. Like you don't really appreciate the women's revolution and the 4 horsewomen if you don't have the divas that come before it and lay that groundwork, especially for someone like me who doesn't know 90% of the divas era because I didn't come back into wrestling until WrestleMania 30, where AJ has this title, has his record, Paige comes in the next day, takes it off of her, and it's like, oh shit, so this is what we're doing. But I have to now go back and do all this research because I didn't know who Kelly was. I didn't know who Michelle McCool was. I know Layla and all them. But now I got to do homework. But then when it comes to WrestleMania 32, and we're switching over from the Divas title to the women's title, and now we got Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky headlining. Now I know who the hell these women are. Now I know now I'm paying attention. But I needed that. You need that Divas level of women to really lay that groundwork, and the women that came before them. Because
and all your favorites
at 32, we really appreciated it, especially when you put the women. They got 2 matches, so you got to celebrate the Divas era. But then we're also going to spotlight Who's up? Who's now? Who's going to be the future?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you have to remember all your divas, like not for nothing. Cora Jade is inspired by AJ Lee. Roxanne is inspired by people like Natalia and all the people that they watch. They were once fans. Sasha will go to bat to say who inspired her. They're all divas. You know, have your favorite.
A huge AJ fan, I believe.
They're friends.
How could you? It's almost like how could you not respect AJ Lee if you're like Sasha Banks? But what I love the evolution, like going into like Chamber, because that was a match that the women didn't get for years and years and years. And they got one. I feel like it kind of, you know, it did always feel like, I don't know if it because it became like so soon after Royal Rumble that Chamber kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But this match is exciting. Like you know, it can really go either way. You know, you have Asuka, who I think is kind of the in favor to win. I would like Asuka to win, but then you got Liv, who is in the title picture. Then you got Raquel, who they've been pushing, so it is a possibility that she could win. So, and then you got, you know, Natalia, who knows what, you know. But how are you guys feeling about going into this match? Are you kind of rooting for Asuka too, or you think we're gonna get a swerve?
I'm very interested in this match because even though Asuka's the heavy favorite, there's a number of ways that can go. Mind you, this is for the number one contender spot for Bianca Belair's WWE Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So the stakes are high already as is. It's in Canada, so you're already going to get like a hometown pop from Natalia. Raquel has been booked very strong and solid as of late. Carmella is a former champion. Tag team and women's champion. You see how Liv has been booked ever since, what was it, April or May when Money in Bank happened, and her trajectory where she's just been skyrocketed. I believe I got Nikki Cross, used to be Nikki Ace. Nikki Ace, also former champion, tag team champion and women's champion. And then you got Asuka, who's a heavy favorite. We all want Bianca Belair versus Asuka, but you never know. And that's the beauty of this, where it's like elimination, you never know.
You really don't. All I know is they're going to beat the shit out of each other because that is a brutal, brutal match. And
it is. From all the women that's been in that chamber before, they say that's not a fun bump at all. That chamber does not feel good. It does not look good.
Yeah.
So shout out to all of them just for doing it in general.
You got all the crazy bitches in one cage. Like you got Cotton Asuka, you got freaking Nikki Cross, you got Liv Morgan, who's like a flip switch, and then I feel like you got Natalia, who's like, listen, my nose just got broken. I'm not playing nice with none of you bitches. And then you just got Raquel, who like you in my way, douche. You in my way, douche. Yep. You got one long ass leg. It's gonna be that's gonna be the most underrated match tonight. I think it's gonna do very well.
Mm-hmm. Me too. They're gonna definitely show out, and they're in Montreal, I believe. And you already know the crowd is gonna be all the way there. How y'all feeling about the men's match?
It's gonna be. You mean the murder in Montreal? Yeah.
No, because not. Can I bust open the fourth wall real quick?
What?
Yes, you can.
I'm sitting here trying to. I forgot to make a graphic, and I'm making the graphic, and as soon as I was about to jump in, he goes into the next point. Y'all go get this one, goddamn it! Because that's my thing.
Who can stop Asuka?
Who can stop her?
Hopefully, no one.
Like, look at the fact that she has this new presentation. It's her match to lose. I don't want to see a swerve. I don't want to see nothing else. I want to see her go to WrestleMania and lose to Bianca Belair.
No, but listen, man, y'all forgot Asuka got to get her lick back. She's not won at WrestleMania.
Guess what?
She has inherited a Sasha streak for me.
She has.
No, I'm going to go further than that. I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper. We as Black people complain about the lack of wins at WrestleMania. No Japanese wrestler has won a WWE championship at WrestleMania. Not Asuka, not Shinsuke. They told us Yokozuna was. Clearly, they was wrong.
and you see what happened with Yokozuna 5 minutes later.
Oh, boy.
That was a great moment, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
No, the hell it was.
Whose expense?
I will die on a hill. That was a phenomenal moment because you will not be able to change 6-year-old Brian when my guy came out and got this belt back. But nonetheless,
at whose expense though? Was it a great moment? It
Guess
was
what?
at Yokozuno's expense.
He won
And
the
we're-
belt the next 2 months later. Why is everybody crying? He had a run. For
my
goodness
God.
sake, y'all act like he didn't have a run with the title. He had a Master
Brian,
Heel run.
Brian,
Did
are
he not?
you?
So biased.
Duh.
That
But
is
there's
a
nothing-
that is a biased opinion.
It's not a biased opinion. It's also a fact. It was going to Europe. You can't sell Yokozuna to Europeans in 1993. You have to sell Hulk Hogan.
Oh God.
But let's say we're gonna save that for something else. The
Let me
bottom
tell you
line
something,
is,
brother.
We're gonna add that. Justin, add that to the list. We are gonna save it for something else. There we go.
the bottom line is this is going to be Asuka's match. I don't want to see her beat Bianca because of other reasons. We'll talk about that when it comes to that time.
Thank you.
Reality
KRISTA said to
TV.
stop it.
But we as far as the men's match where P was going to pivot, the murder in Montreal. But if you're talking about the men's elimination chamber, it's wide open. But then again, it's not. Austin Theory is kind of like the odds-on favorite to win. I think this is a star-making moment for him. We know what happened last year. He got tossed around like a rag doll by Brock Lesnar. And I think this right here, if Seth Rollins, if we wasn't privy to information and we wasn't privy to Seth Rollins' social media, right?
Damn you, dirt
He would-
sheets.
he would be the one I would pick. But I think it's going to be Austin Theory because I just think everybody else is going to be busy. But I would love to see Montez Ford walk away with it.
Me too.
That is my
Oh
actual
God.
swerve right there because everything's pointing towards Austin Theory retaining, and we go to a bigger, high-profile match at Mania. But I'm just saying, you need a swerve at some point on this pay-per-view. Everything kind of feels chalk except this match. This match is really the wild card of like, I don't know where this goes other than Theory retains or Tez, because why not? You've been quietly pushing him as a single star. You've been low key. You're keeping the Street Profits together, but you're also doing like you did with New Day, where it's like, all right, let Dawkins go one-on-one, let Tez go one-on-one, and kind of see how that goes. And you see, Tez is kind of ready for that Biggie Intercontinental run where you can keep them together as Street Profits, but let him rock with the U.S. title.
Yeah,
Right.
Plus, no one would expect it, and that fucking pop Tez will get. I'm just saying.
Can I ask a question? Why do you think they didn't do one for the Intercontinental?
Because it's Gunther.
Because I think we're getting Gunther and Sheamus, and that's where Sheamus gets his moment to finally be.
But we've had Gunther and Sheamus before.
No.
But I like that. I think it's gonna hit different. It gonna hit
WrestleMania.
different.
I think also it's a matter of who's booking the show, which is Triple H. If you look back to when he was booking takeovers, he likes to keep it lean. 5-6 matches. Elimination chambers take a lot of time because you got between 3 and 5 minutes per every person getting into the ring. You still got elimination, so that's going to be at least a half hour each. Roman and Sammy, you don't know where that's going to go, how long that's going to go. That could be a bloodbath in 5 minutes, or that could be a 30-minute classic. And then you got the other 2 matches. So with Triple H, he likes to keep the pay-per-views kind of lean because he knows that we hate 4-hour pay-per-views where you have additional matches like, why the hell are we getting this match? Why are we getting that match? It's 5 matches. Everything means something. And then when Gunther now wrestles again for the IC title, now it means something because we haven't seen him wrestle in a minute.
That's true.
And agreed.
It's also exciting going into Mania season with the pay-per-views meaning something, because sometimes that's not always the case. We kind of just like, oh, all right, you know, we're getting there. But this pay-per-view means a lot. So
I want to ask you this because obviously you're the biggest Stone Cold Steve Austin fan I know. When you think back to like St. Valentine's Day Massacre and everything that show, because like when you look at Stone Cold's runs, right? I think that was the most important one he had in his roads to WrestleMania. Like his 3 times he main evented and won the championship at Mania. That was like the most important one. Where does, if that's the standard, is this one for you, P, reaching it, or is it coming close, or is it like it's cool but it's not St. Valentine's Day Massacre?
It's hard.
What was that sound?
You asking her?
I'm really going through so many different like emotions, but I feel like it's definitely getting there. it just sucks like that we have so much knowledge going into things. So it does take a little bit away from it. Like we all kind of knew Lita was coming back. Like so a lot of, you know, the road to Mania could, you know, it doesn't have that like complete mystery anymore. But I feel like we're getting there. We're getting there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm feeling like this one is like must-see TV, man. Like I was on the phone with Brother Fam earlier, like, bro, like, are we linking? He's like, man, I got stuff. I was like, oh man, you know, because like this is that party show. You know what I mean? We know y'all got legends and all that, you know. I'm like sitting up here like, is there a way I can get a train ride? I could be back at church. But
Saturday, right? Oh my god.
Listen, if we put you on a train at an early bird, you'll be making back in time. We got you. If you want to come, yeah.
I mean,
everybody gonna want to be at Legends.
Listen, it hit different. I'm telling y'all, like it the atmosphere, and I credit P because she was the one. I was gonna sit home and watch it at home by myself, and she was like, "Oh, you should come down to this place called Legends," and she has like this charm where I'm just like, "All right, fuck it, I'm coming. Why not?" Like it's just a train ride away. So, but that was like the best time. I got to meet everyone, and then it just became like a religious thing. You cannot not go.
Yeah,
like Justin will tell you, we're not boring. And
right.
you just same thing, like it's a vibe.
If I didn't have a litany of things to do this weekend, I would definitely pop up in New York and go to Legends. But life is saying, sit your ass down at home. You got things to do. Pop it on Peacock like everyone else.
Justin, gas up the pacer.
We got to be responsible,
right?
Yeah,
you got to be an adult.
No, seriously. So I do want to get into some other stuff on the show, especially SmackDown, because I think it was actually, you know, kind of good. So let's take a quick break and we'll get into Ronda and Shayna.
Ooh.
Oh, Lord.
What I've been waiting for. So the interesting part, too, about the Charlotte and Sasha thing was that it was very much a flip-flop. Not really like how it is now. I feel like women, like, they hold it for like a long amount of time. But Charlotte came over to Raw. She was drafted to Raw. And that's when they renamed it the Raw Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. And on the first night that she was a Raw, you know, officially a Raw superstar in 2016, Sasha Banks beats her for the title. So it was shocking. And that's what I love. Like when I was rooting for Alexa during, you know, I was like, if Bianca drops it, I'm like, the shakeup, which now sounds crazy, but it's because it's a shocking thing.
Watch your words.
People were like watching it and being like, oh shit, Charlotte lost. Like Sasha Banks won, and it's the person that everybody's been rooting for so long. I love that. And I love that they had that back and forth because you never really knew who was going to win. Going into like Extreme Rules and all that, and SummerSlam, and like you really never knew who was gonna win. Sasha had these really short feuds that everybody didn't like, but I enjoyed the back and forth. Like it just made it so exciting.
It did. Like I said in previous episodes, like they literally brought out the best in each other.
We all muted.
No, I froze for a second. Check out our Charlotte episode if you haven't already. But I want to know, do you guys prefer Ronda and Shayna get the tag team championships as be their kind of WrestleMania journey, or do you want to see them as opponents?
Fight. I want to see them wrestle each other because I personally think a Ronda Rousey feud for Shayna Baszler can help elevate Shayna as far as mainstream. No matter how the wrestling community feels about Ronda Rousey, there's no doubt that she's still a superstar. People still recognize. We gotta put credit or give her credit where credit's due. She was like doing what Mike Tyson was doing back in the mid 2000s. You know, when I was working at ESPN, I was on the social media team around the time when she was doing 15-second knockouts. And so one of the things they did was like when she came to campus, they called a car wash where you go do all this stuff. They had like they put out an email. Who wants her to volunteer? Who wants to volunteer for her to cut your hair in 15 minutes? You know who didn't? And this was when I had, I was rocking a regular, but like people, we don't let people mess up our hair. But she was just doing fun stuff like that. And then I remember like putting out tweets and then watching Mike Tyson give her credit, putting her over, talking about, just all that she was doing was phenomenal. So yeah, she comes into this wrestling world. Is she picking up on promos? No, maybe not. But she's still a star, and the way the ladies in the back embraced her, that goes to show you something. And I think putting her in a feud with Shayna Baszler can help elevate Shayna. And then there's so much that you can tell as far as the stories. Right. I know P don't like to call them the 4 and horse and women all together because her partners aren't there and they wasn't on the same level as the wrestlers. But it's still a thing where we know they're friends, but I think they can help elevate. I think they can help elevate each other, but I also think she can help elevate Shayna and make Shayna mainstream as far as a professional wrestler.
I agree with you to an extent, Brian, because we can get that, just not right now. So I'm gonna disagree with you on have them feuding for WrestleMania. I'd rather them as a tag team because everything you said is true about Ronda Rousey, except she's cooled off on this second run. It ain't hitting like it was before. It ain't hitting when she was the baddest woman on the planet, knocking people out in 15 seconds. Everyone's seen her get them hands put on her more than once. We've seen her in that first run where she's putting on some bangers. Yes, she has some great dance partners as well on that first run, but she also did her part and was putting in the work, and it showed in the work. This second run ain't been it. And Trips and shout out to WWE management for finally like, yo, this ain't hitting like it is. Yes, she's a huge star. Yes, she's got the SmackDown Women's title. Guess what? People are kind of tuning out to this. People will rather tune into Raw because what they're doing is great. And everyone's talking about SmackDown with Ronda's title and going like, when's Sasha coming back? When's Naomi coming back? When's Charlotte coming back? Can we trade someone over to SmackDown because this ain't working? But with her in the tag team title picture, especially with Shayna, she can get that exposure to help Shayna out right there. Plus, you're also doing a service for the women's division because you need someone to do something with those tag team titles. God bless Damage Control. They've done everything they can with those titles. But the problem is you just don't have enough women's tag teams to really bring that attention for them to face. And they've kind of faced everyone. So what do? Give it to Ron and Shayna. Now you have them be the big bullies where now we got these titles. I double dare you to try to come get them.
And I agree with you, Justin, on that note, because they don't have enough people. And a lot of people, I even see a Rumble comparing to like, they want the NXT roster already up there already. And I'm like, well, you have to understand it's chemistry play down at NXT. You can't really chemistry play on SmackDown and Raw like that. You kind of either throw it together and it work or it don't.
Chemistry play. I like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. You have to, it works because they're experimenting down there. They're younger, they're more optimistic. And I feel like if you do put the tag team titles on Shayna and Ronda, you're two women that have worked with each other since day one. Kind of like if you were to put Sammy and Jey Uso together. Wouldn't really work that well. You're going to put the brothers together because it works perfectly. They're brothers. They've been in there since day one. Those two have been together since day one. And like I said, they would most likely be a terror, but then you also now give the opportunity with them being a tag team to bring more people up to the forefront to be a tag team, but it don't have to be from that roster. It could be the younger talent. It could be people that you feel like have been a tag team before. Like, even if they were like, say, for example, it's certain people, you can put them with anybody and it works. Like with Liv Morgan, you can probably do that with like, I know they've probably done it a million times with Raquel Rodriguez, but if they really gave Raquel Rodriguez a chance with someone that she can work with very well.
Dakota Kai.
Right. She would work. She works well she would work well with tag teams. Some of them, you just putting them together, you slapping them together like two pieces of bread.
I think too, what works with Shayna and Ronda is like it's real, like Shayna's promo. Like I love that she finally was like everything she was saying was true. Like Ronda, you may be Ronda's the star, whatever, but I was here Shayna was on the Indies, if I'm not mistaken. She wrestled like she's she's been there. She
cut her
dominated.
MMA. She cut her MMA career short to do it.
Exactly. And I really wish that they talked more about her NXT domination, because I think it would really like add to that. So putting them together, and then even just building up that chemistry for the people that don't know, for the smart fans that don't know their history, like we kind of know, you know, we can make the story ourselves. But for the people that just go in watching, they can really build that up and have them as this tag team, build some tag teams around them, and then, you know, ultimately have, you know, the demise of it. And it, done right, that can like really go on for a really good amount of time.
And it highlights the women's tag team titles, which is one of the main things you need to do. Like, look what it did last year when you put Sasha and Naomi in there. You made people pay attention to that match. You gotta remember, WrestleMania this time of year, the diehard fans are gonna watch regardless. But the casual fans that only come around for the big four, the even more casual fans that only tune in for WrestleMania and for Ronda's in a tag team match. Who's her partner?
Right.
I need to know more about her. Who is she wrestling in this tag team match? I need to know more about that. That's why you do that. You show that these titles are very important because we're going to put this star in this match to highlight the importance of this. It worked last year because you saw the reaction when Sasha and Naomi won. It was a huge ass reaction. And you get the same thing this year. God forbid, if Ronda and Shayna, if that's the path they're going to go, and especially you're in LA, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, right. They're gonna make something for Ronda, especially because they're in LA and it will be very full circle moment for her. And, you know, honestly, I think Shayna Baszler has taken on to being a NXT WWE superstar way better than Ronda Rousey has. So what I'm hoping that them being a tag team, that Ronda can get more like comfortable and more like relaxed and like actually look like she's having fun. Because that's Rousey never looks like she's, and it's unfortunate because she is a wrestling fan and she does respect wrestling, but she always just kind of looks like she would rather be like somewhere else. And I think that's because she doesn't know how to, she doesn't have the thick enough skin for the crowd, in my opinion. So I
think criticism does get to her, because also keep in mind, Ronda's not like somebody who was born and bred at NXT. You're talking about somebody who's been dealing with criticism since the start of her career, her MMA career. Like, people were telling her as a woman, there's no way she's going to dominate the UFC. So for her to have to be like, bet, you don't think I could do this? You know what? And UFC is different. She just has to back her shit up with action. She goes in there, she dominates, the first most dominant female in the game, covers, magazine, all that. She's proven her critics wrong in that sense. Now you're throwing her into a completely different community where the fans are a little bit more vocal than UFC. The crowd is more vocal than UFC. Like, you have to now defend yourself. Right. And you have to now work to either, you can't just get pissed on reaction. If you're a face, you have to react like a face. If you're a heel, you have to act like a heel. She don't know how to do that. And I said, well, I think people forget when they see when they're saying what they want to her, and she gets back on Twitter and she's like, well, I'm not this, and I'm like not this person. But you have to learn how to do it to where you're defending yourself, but you're not treating them like your real opponents, because there were women that were trying to work with her. And I feel like once she started showing her UFC side, like, all right, when I'm in UFC and people talk to me like this is how I defend myself. I feel like they're like, whoa, like, calm down. Like, if you really feel this way, come talk to me. Don't take it out on the internet. Don't put it in your promos. Come see me about it.
So who's gonna beat them? That's my biggest thing. Yeah. Like, if they're tag team champions, which is fine, but who, like, I'm really like looking at the whole roster, and I'm talking the entire roster of women's wrestlers, and the only way I could see anybody beat them, it would be a combination of a super team. And when I say super team, I mean like a Becky and a Bayley, a Bianca and a Asuka. Like, I just don't see anybody beating them, which is fine, right? We can have another dominant run. I think they can find a way to be entertaining, but eventually, you know, like Tamina and Shayna, it's going to have to come. No, I mean, to me, Shayna and Nia Jax, like the odd couple, but they were.
I feel like it could be Tamina and Nia Jax.
Okay.
I feel like be them.
I feel like it would be a
that's a question that should get answered at next year's WrestleMania, and in that year's time, you actually invest in your women's tag team divisions. putting people together. Why not put Rhea? I'm just gonna spitball this off the top of my head. Why not put Raquel and Shotzi together? Why not do something with Xia Li and put her with a partner? If you don't have anything for Liv Morgan, why don't you put her with a partner? The same goes for Carmella on Raw. Dana Brooks just chilling catering. So is Tamina. So are other talented women on Raw. You can actually do something to where you invest. You see them training the same shit that you're doing with Lacey Evans with this whole promos of her like training and this and that. You can be doing that for the women's tag teams. And like establishing like,
I would love for
they're
Dan
starting
to
to
turn
grow
heel.
camaraderie. They're starting to actually gain, trust with each other. They're starting to work with each other. They're starting to get wins. Bring back jobbers. Let the tag teams go against jobbers, and that's the way where you can build them up for Ronda and Shayna to where eventually maybe you get a super team like Brian said, where it's like a Becky and Bailey, enemies that got to work together to get the belts off them, or you actually spend the time investing in a team to where now they're ready.
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Ronda is also one of those people because she's Ronda Rousey. I don't think she needs to be in the singles championship picture for any time soon. I think she either needs to have a non-title feud with Shayna, or they need to gather the tag team championships. And I think that's where Ronda should stay. But I do want to get into NXT because I am invested right now. Vengeance Day got me hooked, and then they had one of the best follow-up shows post premium live event show long time. And then you had the whole Jacy Jayne and the Gigi Janetti. I mean Gigi Dolan.
Not Janetti, girl.
Gigi Janetti.
Only because Jacy Jayne said it, and I thought it was hilarious. But I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch her promo, but she actually kicked off the show. What did you guys think of it? For those who saw it, do you think it hit? Do you think this was the post, controversial event promo that it needed to be for Jacy Jayne?
It made me invested in her. When I sit back and I listen, I was like, okay, so where are we going? She was for me the person that I was looking forward most to seeing, because I wanted to see how she was going to react and what she was going to say. And no, did she come out there and say a whole bunch of like, oh, I'm better than you and this is that and other, but she let it be known like she was the person who was, the third wheel essentially. And what I was seeing was Seth Rollins, right? If y'all remember when the Shield was put together, the indie fans knew Seth Rollins, obviously Tyler Black, former Ring of Honor world champion. But you had Roman Reigns, who was the guy, when you looked at him, he just looked like, oh, that's a Vince guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
You had Dean Ambrose, who had the cult following because he had that, that CZW-esque following. Shout out to Jeff Jarrett real quick, who's walking out here right now. We want to recognize the passing of his dad, Jerry Jarrett, who passed away yesterday, and Sanjay Dutt has the shirt. Well, no, never mind. I don't have Jerry Jarrett on, but they did the tribute for Jerry Jarrett. So shout out to him, Jeff Jarrett, to be able to even do this right now.
Right.
But you look at, like I said, Roman was the guy that he looked like a WWE superstar. Dean was the guy who had the cult following. Seth Rollins was the one taking all the bumps, and when he made the turn, it made sense. He was the one I always felt who needed it the most. For the circumstances to happen the way they did, I love the fact that it was Jacy Jayne, and then what she did prove on the microphone, one, that she could captivate an audience, and if she's going to either annoy you or she drew heat, bottom line. And I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm thinking maybe Gigi stays away for a little bit, but either way, when she comes back, the pop she's going to get is going to be crazy. And then when they have that match, hopefully at the event of WrestleMania weekend,
she'll definitely be back before Stand Deliver.
Yeah,
definitely.
It'll have everybody invested, and it's going to be so much fun. And again, it's real quick. It's a non-title feud. That's what we want to see.
That's what we want more of, right?
Women.
I was gonna say that, like, this is something you definitely want more of, and I feel like everybody likes a good grudge match, but the grudge matches have been mostly left up to like men. Like the last grudge match I feel like we really had was Roxanne and Cora Jade. Like so everybody likes a good grudge match. I'm interested in seeing these grudge matches because you have not seen them against each other. And they're both very talented women. They've been on the side of Mandy Rose. They've been a tag team. They've been a unified front. What can they do on their own? And not for nothing, I ordered that shirt because that shirt fire.
Oh, see?
That shirt is fire. I was like, you know,
I noticed this.
And me trying to add, I'm about to add that to the collection because it's like real cute.
But
like,
that's what is so interesting about wrestling is like sometimes your opportunity comes and you never know. If nobody snitched on Mandy Rose, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like, I didn't know Jacy Jayne's fucking name. You know what I mean? And now it's like we're talking about her.
Seindole, you laugh, but like, yeah, like you never know when the opportunity. You never know when the opportunity comes. Like, look how
shout out to Tensai.
Just see him on. He was on NXT yesterday.
I'm sorry. All right, I'm done. No,
but you know, like I respect them both for stepping into the spotlight when they didn't expect to, and they could have easily been written off. We just talked about the fake 4 horsewomen. Like, where are they even doing right now? Like, you know what I mean?
One of them's on AEW. So
that's true, with the blonde hair. So, you know, it's I love that they are stepping into it, and I feel like Jacy Jayne killed it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I hope we don't see Gigi for a little bit. I hope they really
almost killed Gigi with that door.
Child.
The door, and
that's a meme right there.
Talk about kicking off her shell. She kicked her in the face too. She said, "Pow!" Hold that. But like, you know, wrestlers. Like, I'm looking forward to where this goes, because if you're gonna compare this to Sean and Marty, it's like we said at previous fan club episodes. That's a very, very, very high bar, because you're talking about a Hall of Famer and arguably one of the greatest heel turn moments of all time. So if you're gonna really put yourself on that level, you also gotta follow it up. But
wait, you mean to say that was better than Austin at WrestleMania 17?
Nothing's better than Austin at WrestleMania 17.
I didn't like that at the moment. I still don't like
Nothing's
that.
better.
It's like,
don't do that, Justin. Don't do that. Look at her face. She's one stop away from kicking somebody out the club. Don't encourage that.
Out regardless.
No,
I believe she kicks me out.
What else gonna be you? It's not gonna be you.
Where's Justin? The fingers on the button. Say something about Austin. Say something about Austin. I double dare you to say something about Austin.
That's really
so cold. So cold.
Great match. Great ending. Did not like that heel turn. But the onus, but to bring it back, like the onus is on the girls, to where it was like, if you're gonna compare yourself to this all-time greatest moment, you do got to back it up. But now you got the interest on both of you, to where it's like, all right, when that match happens and Gigi come back and she can be like, yo, I want a receipt for this damn face you just kicked. Is all you got to deliver, and if you deliver, then bravo.
But see, wrestling's different, because I can see her saying, lay it in. You know, y'all heard the stories from Mae Young. She would tell the Dudleys, she told Bully Ray, you better throw me through that table or else, you know. So they built different. That's why they got my respect. So she probably said, lay it in there.
Yeah.
Sean was like, I need you to make it look real aggressive. And Gigi was like, sure, no problem.
And we've seen what she's done on the indies. I'm pretty sure that kicks in the face was nothing.
How her and Cora Jade made it through that promotion, I will never understand. Like, you talking about, like, not for nothing, I watched a match that Cora Jade was in where they were like, freaking, I hate, everybody knows I hate pins. I hate it when Randy and Mankind had their match. I hate it with Edge. I hate pins and thumbtacks. And Cora Jade had a match like that. And I was like, why? But look at where she's at. I was just like, ugh. Like, it just makes my skin crawl. But like, I give credit where it's due. I'm not doing it personally. Make me a ring valet. Make me the Shayla to the J Bougie of the world. I'm for that. I'm not for thumbtacks.
Shout out to J.
Please and thank you.
I have a question. Was anyone knowing Priscilla Kelly on the Indies? Was anyone surprised that she got signed by WWE?
100%.
I was. I was. And then, you know what killed me? I thought that Cora Jade was gonna stay with AEW. She did like 2 episodes and then they snatched her real quick. Like she was on 2 episodes of Dark, and that was it. During the, I think, was it during the pandemic? I think it was during the pandemic, and then they snatched her up for good. I thought Priscilla Kelly was going to AEW.
Me too. She seemed like such an AEW girl, and then she's done some really controversial things on the indies. But it was, I mean, I would have never.
It was a time. And then, given who
that,
she
I
was
like,
married, given to who she was married to, I'm not surprised when I found out who her ex-husband is. I was like, oh,
hold on,
the
y'all.
math is mathing.
It's 2023. And y'all know, like I always talk about, like 1999 is like one of my favorite years of wrestling. But on my television right now is Jeff Jarrett and Billy Gunn in the ring.
Like, why?
Right?
Why?
Y'all want your legends? There you go.
I
The combined age of both wrestlers is probably like 110.
But what's fun though is that wrestlers, like, they're more in shape now than they were before, which is also wild.
Hell yeah, Billy Gunn look like a Shrek. Like, sorry.
Oh no,
it because like,
oh my god, I saw them.
But give it up to like this current generation and generation before, where it's like they're really health conscious. Like I know Undertaker hates it because like guys don't go out and drink and do all this and parties. Like yeah, because they want to live to see 60. There's nothing wrong with playing.
You see how Ric Flair
There's
can't
nothing
get
wrong
up.
with like, yo, I actually want to take good care of my body. I want to eat healthy, be vegan, and this and that. There's other ways where we can have fun where I'm not torturing my body. We're already doing that in the ring as is, and you're seeing the benefits of it to where like I'm like Brian said, because I'm also watching the same thing. These two guys are wrestling. The combined age is probably 110 between the two of them, but they can still wrestle.
You see how
whereas the Taker, I remember that Saudi match where like him and Kane versus Triple H and Shawn, and I was like, bro, is this done? Because even 2 minutes in, it's like none of y'all should be in this fucking ring.
I think of
Shawn
3
Michaels
people.
Is the greatest ever. That never happened.
I think of 3 people. I think of how the Big Show had his larger than life documentary and talked about how uncomfortable he was in his own weight to where he like changed his entire diet around. He rode bicycles, y'all. Like he started cycling. That's not easy. I think of how CM Punk was saying that when he first started, he thought that he had to be one of these buff guys, so he started eating like shit to the point where his body wasn't aligned with his last career, so he went vegan. Like homeboy went vegan, and then he said that he had to revert back to going to vegan because being vegan made him worse than eating all that meat. So now he just eats regular food, no fast food, none of that. And then I think of like the fact that Ric Flair can't go past 10 a.m. without having a fucking drink. So when you look at all 3 different of those scenarios, but you look at how their athleticism is, it's a no-brainer. Like
my personal favorite channel is on YouTube. Is Sheamus's Celtic Warrior workout, his fit stuff. Remember, Sheamus has been in business for a long time. I do too. And it's like he not only does he work out with so many different talents, and you learn so many different workouts, but you also got to remember, like, a lot of these people have been in the business 10, 15, 20 years, and you see like firsthand, like, this is how I stay in shape. This is how I'm able to work the talents. I've had this injury, so I have to work around it and this and that. Or I've had this surgery, that surgery, this surgery, that surgery, but I'm able to do this because of the eating and drinking correctly or doing these different workouts. And you learn so much stuff, but then you'll see like, oh, they can wrestle to their 40s. They can wrestle to their 50s as long as they stay away from major injuries.
They are, like the AJ Styles and those people. But I love that there's like the performance center that probably does teach you healthier ways, healthier lifestyles and stuff like that. So like Roxanne, for example, you know, she's able to go into it like her, you know, who she looked up to, like she had to retire early. So now seeing her, she's fresh, she looks like it, and now she's about to face a legend.
Yeah, because she was wrestling. What, she started when she was 16?
14.
Very young.
14, yeah.
Very, very young.
And she gets more of the legend.
Oh my God, that's gonna be a good.
Imagine being considered like already facing this caliber at this age, and then also like defending your championship.
Yeah,
like, it has to be such a surreal moment, and again, a moment we probably wouldn't have gotten if No, okay, let me stop.
You know what?
No, but you know what though, P,
sentence.
you are right. Like it does. This is one of those things that take a catapult effect, and it makes what we have today. Like imagine if Mandy Rose was still there. Like when was it? Like we keep asking, like who's gonna beat like Shayla and Rock and Shayla and Ronda? Who's gonna beat Asuka? Who's going to beat this person? Who's going to be that person? Who's going to beat Roman Reigns? Like, these are the things that, like, we want these what if scenarios. Our first what if scenario happened with Mandy Rose. And it, unfortunately, the situation that happened behind it is unfortunate. But, like, think of the progress that's being made. Like, you finally have feuds that everybody's talking about between her own old faction, two women that probably would have had to wait even longer to see a solo career happen.
I had this like vision that Triple H was gonna have the NXT Women's Championship defended at Mania. Like it was like a little like
right.
But if it's someone like that, like it could happen.
You know what? It's funny you bring that up because a couple years ago, I remember he did this thing on Twitter. This was probably during the Adam Cole, maybe even Kevin Owens run of the NXT Championship. They said, will we ever see it defended at Mania? And his reply was, why don't we see the NXT champion get promoted and be in the main event of WrestleMania? But, which we did see eventually with Kevin Owens, but, as far as Roxanne and Miko Satomura is concerned, like watching the match, when she said, I got a partner, and I got a teammate. And then I'm enjoying the match. And then as it ended, I was like, what if she turns on her? And it would have been fun to watch, but I like the way that she said, okay, I did you a favor. Now you owe me a favor. That's like old school, That's the stuff, like when I started like really jumping into this, that my cousin that I don't really talk about no more had sat me down and like showed me stuff from the Mid-South when there was Mr. Wrestling 2 and the guy who was in the accident, Magnum TA. Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You remember like the way they put together this feud, and it was like they was teaming up, but then he was like slowly turn on, and like right here it was something similar, but it was like, okay, I did this for you, now you owe me something, and now Miko, they gonna fight. And to your point, P, of like the what if of it all, it's crazy, but it shows you that you gotta be ready. Bianca said this when she spoke with Ryan Satin this week, that be ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And you look at the roster of women and I'm like, man, who would they have put the title on, right? I don't know necessarily. I can't think of anybody else, and I'm like, okay, well maybe I'm just biased because I've been a Roxanne fan since watching her career come up, but she's like checks off the boxes, and she's somebody that the fans can easily get behind. You could easily have sympathy around her. So this is going to be fun to watch.
And even at that, like I think of mostly when I think of favor for a favor, like if you look at how Sammy Uso started with the bloodline, he walked up into Roman Reigns thing. He's like, listen, like I know you like tribal chief, but I'm the locker room leader. So like, if you take care of me, I'm gonna take care of you. And that's when you mentioned that, Brian, like I didn't think about this. I thought about Sammy automatically because when I watched it, I said, "Oh, this is an ode to the South." Because I remember that whole thing. Like I stayed up on YouTube. I was in like a rabbit hole. You know how I get my rabbit holes when I be watching old school shit. So I got into a rabbit hole and I started watching it, and I was like, "This is interesting because we've seen this scenario so many times today. But if we never got that scenario originally, we wouldn't have what we have today." When I think about it.
Man. Hold up, real quick. Why one of my wrestling group chats, somebody talking about what's going to happen with St. Patrick's Day is the next holiday for Dom and Ray. And
Child, you know what though? I hope
throw green beer on Ray
to pivot off
while he's
of
wearing
NXT.
a green luchador mask.
And you know, it's crazy though, not to pivot off of NXT, but to pivot back a little bit.
Mhm.
What I appreciate, and we talk about how we want the NXT titles more defended, more pay-per-views. Like P knows a little bit more than me, but I remember being excited about the NXT championship being defended at women's at Evolution.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a really good match. And then I also always appreciate Brock Lesnar, Beast of the East, because they also had an NXT championship match. They had it in Japan.
That's when
So I'm
Finn
like,
won, right?
right, that's when Finn won. But remember those people, those players that impacted those matches. It
Right.
wasn't just the title that impacted matches, it's the people. You had two of the most hyped, because remember, it's two people that fought each other in Japan. So why not put them in a match in Japan? And then the same thing with the people that have been watching the Mae Young Classic and they know the story between the two. So you're gonna have to make that history known and put it in a title match. You can't I don't want NXT titles to be filler matches. That's what I never want. And that's why I feel like it shouldn't be at WrestleMania, because I feel like if it's at WrestleMania night one, I don't want it to be like some 10-minute filler match. Because not for nothing, if you were to say, for example, if you were to put like Carmelo into a match with somebody who's also like great, like say him and Grayson Waller go at it, you already know that match is a banger, and they do it the first match, yo, people are gonna shit on the entire card because that's how good they are. And I don't think people would appreciate it. They're not gonna appreciate it. They just not. So until they appreciate it, I don't want it there.
It's true, because like, it's hard to say, because you look at it from like the wrestler's perspective, where it's like, imagine defending this championship at WrestleMania, but then you think as a fan where it's like, I will be happy for them, but it's like you said, like, you know, should they have their own stage? Like, you know, like, will it kind of get lost in the shuffle? Will people appreciate it? I don't know.
They have their own stage, which is Vengeance Day, and you already see like they're coming back outside for those big NXT shows, takeover type shows, which is like perfect, because I remember the times where Takeover used to shit on whatever WWE pay-per-view was.
They used to sell out first day. I remember I was in line when NXT Brooklyn happened. I had to be at work in the bathroom for a half hour. I almost got written up because I was like, there's no freaking way I'm not getting these tickets, first of all. Second of all,
that's why you my sister.
Like, I was on the toilet, like, if I get kicked out of this line one more time, and my brother was like, did you get him? Did you get him? Did you get him? I was like, yes, we got him. We secured them. And then my friend had heard about it, and he was like, oh, can you try and see if there's more tickets? Some tickets was gone.
Yo, that was
like the second time.
Tickets, the first AEW Dynamite in DC.
And they were gone. That's how impactful NXT was, because it's something fresh, it's something brand new. Everybody's tired of like main roster stuff because they feel generic. Now you have these fresh new carpet sounds, and then on top of that, they had talent that you had heard in the indies on the streets. And you know that you got them secret little indie fans that are like, they'll shit on WWE, but if they see their favorite person from Backyard Wrestling, I'm coming. So it was just like, it is what was made. Listen, them Backyard Wrestlers are the best one.
And then to piggyback off Seindele's point, like my first two WrestleManias were 34 and 35. And then for New Orleans and New York, those takeover New Orleans is arguably the greatest takeover of all time. And then the one that can actually say they're on that level happened to be the next year, Takeover New York, where Takeover New Orleans, you got Ricochet wrestling for the first time. You got Adam Cole doing 2 matches one night. You got EC3 for the first time. You're getting Andrade and Aleister Black for the title. You're getting Gargano Ciampa 1 in that blood feud. Takeover New York. We're finally getting Pete Dunne, Walter. We're getting Gargano Cole 2 out of 3
good ass match.
We're getting Viking Raiders, Aleister Black, Ricochet, and then the cards are just so good, where it's like, yeah, go top that WWE the next day, and it's like, yeah, WrestleMania is made, but we can't because that show was fucking great. And that's where, to bring it home with NXT, you don't have to take those titles and be like, let's go defend Mania. That's great in theory, but if you're gonna reestablish like the takeover type vibes for like Stand and Deliver or Vengeance Day or stuff like that, like that's gonna really drive it home to where it's like now NXT is must see. And with that 2.0, it's kind of like they were in that transition period, but I think we're back to like, yo, this is gonna be like old school NXT, where it's like, all right, it's not gonna be like New Orleans, it's not gonna be like New York, it's not gonna be like Philly off the gate, but it could be like Brooklyn. It could be like the ones that we got at takeovers before they started coming outside.
It's almost like you need a draw. Like I remember being younger and watching Raw when Sable and Jacqueline had their match and they were defending the championship and he brought it back, I was just like, ooh, there's a women's championship. Like, oh, I want to watch this. It like burned this little fire in me that's like, okay, it's women wrestling. Like, my parents are probably not going to be for this, but I like watching this. It makes you appreciate people like, and then like P said with the Stable episode, like, people don't appreciate Sable enough. She has done great deal for the business, because can you see the women's championship coming back if it wasn't her in the match? Can you honestly say that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly. And then there's like credit Jacqueline where it's due. Like, and I know P's like, I don't want to say that, but it's like, it's the truth. It's hard to, yeah, but it's exactly, but like, you got to give credit where it's due. If it wasn't for those two women, that belt would have stayed retired. And that's gonna be my opinion to this day. They probably looked at, like, they had a young Lita, they had a Trish Stratus who they were probably like, she could be a valet for now, but we want to mold her into something. You also had like, you also had like all these women they want to bring up. You had Ivory, you had all these people they wanted. They're like, okay, Stephanie McMahon has opponents. However they thought about it, like, I to this day, Stephanie McMahon don't get the credit either for like being a badass with that belt, because that shit was hilarious from moment to end. But if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have the stuff that you have, but you had more appreciation for it back then. Kind of like how we have more appreciation for NXT now.
Facts.
Agreed. And I'm all the way in. So if everyone that's watching this, I will be live tweeting NXT from now on, because I'm very, it's just
I told you, it's addictive. And then shout out real quick,
all the women that are featured throughout the show, everything feels meaningful. I think I like Chase U.
I chase you, and then if we can get into my telenovela moment of the week.
And I was like, I think I liked them because I really like the girl.
Oh my god, Thea Hall is the most entertaining girl. Like, you know, she reminds me of somebody that used to be like super hyper like that. Somebody has to know in the chat.
And I don't know exactly.
She reminds me of somebody who used to be like real hyper like that.
Like,
like it was another female wrestler that used to be. I gotta find out, and then we're gonna talk about it in the next episode. And then also,
I was thinking, but I was like, young Maria wasn't super hyper.
No. And if we can also get into y'all know how I was obsessed with like Otis and Mandy Rose, right? So I've been obsessed with this whole like
Yana James and Homeboy.
And then what's the name started to get on my nerves. I was starting to get on my nerves because I actually had to interrupt that date like that. She was like, oh, she's cheating on you. Blah, blah, blah. No, that's my brother. And the brother come out the house and was like,
keys, and she was
going to get some. I was mad. I was like, this girl getting on my nerves. She was like, when you going to trust me? And that makes it interesting with the tag team championships, because how long are they going to put this fold are they going to become friends? Somebody going to turn heel? Storytelling.
I told you I'm a fan of
long-term booking.
HBK. I am a fan.
I'm telling you, he's bringing back those old school elements that made everybody want to watch with new school talent.
It's a shit starter.
The slow burn. Like, where I really am next week gonna be like, oh my god, like, what's gonna happen? It feels so like tried. Like, a lot of the WWE storylines like that could feel very like, okay, we've seen this. It seems forced, but this actually seems like really good and really like engaging. And I'm not like, but I want to get into a former NXT legend who's going to be breaking new ground this weekend. So after this break, we're going to get into Mercedes Mone debut match against Kairi Sane.
The GOAT!
So we'll take that break and we'll be right back.
Many championship matches, or championship wins or losses were associated with Alicia Fox, and they made a spreadsheet about it, and she was involved with Edge losing a championship opportunity at one point when she was in 205 Live, and of course other women too, like she stopped Michelle McCool. Like, I gotta give it to them because they did a lot of research. They went through like every time Alicia Fox was involved in any sort of championship match, and it's like, even reading an article like that, it's like, wow, like she was involved in a lot of storylines, you know. And like, going back to Team Bella, the 9 women that were like chosen to be a part of the women's evolution, I feel like should all be proud of just to being chosen, because, you know, Alicia Fox being with Team Bella, you were with the top bitch, you know, and I say
You
bitches
were the
in a
top
good way, but
mean
you was with the
girls.
top girls of the company at the time. You was aligned with the Divas Championship at the time. You know, you could have been with the other black girls, but, you know, in hindsight, I would want to be, if I had to choose, you know, being on Team Bella isn't the worst.
No, I'm not saying it was.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, for her to look back on her career and being like, yo, I was a part of that. Like, if you list the people that were in those three groups, I was a part of that.
Yo, that
That's
was
right.
a dope episode.
Nice.
Sucks. I really did. It's one of our top episodes.
Because nobody gives her credit.
Yeah. So I feel like people, like her fans that she has, they probably Google her, and that's one of the first things that come up, or like in YouTube, because not a lot of people are going to put a spotlight on her career. So,
you know, the first time go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, first time
Is that the first episode that you watched?
The first one was Dana Brooke.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, I saw them tweet about it. And at the time, I had a photo of me and Dana Brooke from WrestleMania 33 on my desk. So she was like up there as far as favorites.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, somebody did an episode on Dana Brooke. Okay. And wait, these two black women's wrestling fans? And the rest is history. But I remember when I first found out about Alicia Fox. It was like 2005, 2006. My uncle had put me onto I don't know if y'all remember this website called obsessedwithwrestling.com, but my uncle had put me onto the website, and I would just like go down a rabbit hole and just look, and then I was saying, Victoria Crawford. Wait, this is a black women's wrestler? Okay, she all right, you know. And next thing you know, I was like just kind of following what she was doing, and then boom, she was in WWE. And I don't know if y'all remember the Tough Enough that Ariane was on. But her sister, this is the one Stone Cold was like in charge of. Her sister was on there, who was Christina Crawford.
Right.
And I honestly thought she should have won because she was good too. Unfortunately, you know, she didn't. But, you know, shout out to Alicia Fox. Like I said, y'all check out the episode on those Wrestling Girls channels because it's a dope one.
Because even like shout outs to Keeks, All Elite Keeks, because when we've met her at Black WrestleFest, she actually shouted out KRISTA and PR for saying like important how those wrestling girls are, because a lot of the things that you two say, everybody be like, yo, these are facts, but those wrestling girls been said that. In that episode is one episode I can think of all the things that they say about Alicia Fox, even up to the point of her impact in certain stories. I'm like, but, and then you get like a year later, people talk about that when they see she's going crazy. I'm like, but wait, like KRISTA and Pete Ben said that already. So y'all just repeating what things are already at. Like, don't sleep on those wrestling girls. I'm going to say that. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them.
We love being able to put a spotlight on women like her, and I'm actually want to do a Kelly episode now.
You should.
Like, it's a joke. So we're gonna find all those nuggets in her career that were memorable, especially for her fans. Speaking of fans, I'm very excited for Mercedes Moné this weekend. Also just because she's facing someone that like we're all familiar, well, at least myself, because this is going to be the first New Japan show that the second. Sasha Mercedes brought me to two. And the fact that I can be excited about her opponent and be like, oh wait, I know her, I love her, I missed her. So it's like two people that I've missed seeing perform are going to be performing together. They wrestled each other. They have a huge amount of respect for each other. It's kind of like a familiar face for like both of them. So ready to be up all night basically. Because
what's the same time?
No, it's not. Shout out to New Japan for
they moved it because it's in San Jose.
Wait. Shout out to New Japan for putting them as a double main event. So they will be the lead-in into the will be closing the show, which is Okada Tanahashi, but they are the double main event. So what does that mean for Elimination Chamber? They'll be coming on after Elimination Chamber ends. Unless Elimination Chamber goes like 4 or 5 hours, they will, by the time Chamber ends, they will be coming on. Because what New Japan does is, one, they tell you their card, they tell you the order of their card, and they usually put the matches that not everyone's really thrilled to see. in the beginning part of the show, and the matches everyone really wants to see, they put in the back half. So they realized that Mercedes and Kairi sold out this fucking venue by their damn selves before a second match was even announced.
Love
so shout out
it.
to them for doing that. So not only are they getting rewarded with, we're gonna put you very high on the card, we're making this a double main event. So that's official. You can go pull up New Japan NJPW 1972, which is their English website, if you want to pull up the entire card and stuff like that. But salute to them. You sold this out by yourself in literally like what, a week? You will now be headlining for the IWGP Women's title. This is now the second time that Kairi will be defending it. So shout out to Kairi. The first time being Wrestle Kingdom. So that, like we said in previous Wrestling Girl episodes, how much of a huge milestone alone that was to get a women's match not only on Wrestle Kingdom, but to defend that title on Wrestle Kingdom and have Mercedes come out and make her debut. So this will be the first time she's wrestled, like I said, since all that happened, which I believe was around May. So this may be like 9 months since Mercedes has actually wrestled in a ring. And it's going against Kairi. So when you go back to the PC era and the Thunderdome era, when the Golden Role Models were going after Asuka and Kairi, terrorizing Asuka for that Raw Women's Championship, and then Asuka and Kairi trying to come for those tag team titles, and just the feuds and the matches they were having and all the history right there. And then for Mercedes and Kairi to revisit that history in San Jose, basically co-headlining this fucking pay-per-view. Salute to them, man. I cannot wait for them.
I'm nervous for them. Am I the only one that's like nervous for Mercedes?
Like the fact it's been so long.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be very different and very like new, you know, because she's been in WWE for what, maybe a decade?
Yeah, a decade.
Close. So it's like it's gonna be like a different crowd. I mean, I do think Sasha can Mercedes can wrestle any style, but it's also just gonna be very different. I'm very like,
I'm excited. You know, I think this is gonna be so much fun to watch. One thing, it's gonna draw more ratings than the dunk contest that's happening, if it's still happening.
It is.
Yeah, I don't even know who's in it, but you know, so but
no one important. No one important.
Shout out to Justin for all the information to know this is coming on afterwards. It's like, wrestler fans, we're gonna be tired because we know Sammy and Roman gonna take us for an emotional roller coaster.
Ooh, I'm so ready. So here for it. I'm so here for it. But how do you think it will go? Do you see Kairi retaining? Do you see a huge swerve?
I don't know, because we don't know what the contract information is like, which is beautiful. Like, I don't know the details. I don't need to know the details. So, you know, I don't know if this is a one-off, just for this big spot. Is she going back home? I don't know. And that's what makes me happy. And if y'all do know, do not tell me.
So I want y'all to keep this in mind, though. If we're trying to keep the door open for Mercedes Mone, she has to win for a lot of reasons. A, she said that she wants to, this is not her one pit stop. So even if she loses, New Japan Pro Wrestling is supposed to be doing a collision with Impact. So there's a window open for her to go against somebody from Impact. Y'all all know there's 3 people I want her to go against in Impact.
And she's already hitting at one of them.
And she's already hitting at one of them.
Besides Mickey.
Dana Perosa, maybe?
Oh, Lord.
Dina. Sorry, don't leave the room. Don't leave the room yet. Don't leave the room yet. Ryan, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Don't put your boxes in a bunch. Okay, yeah, drink your acid. Drink your acid, because let's put a spade where it's at. This is a lot of people's dream matches, and it's not going to be a bad match, but there's a plethora of women that want they want their ring time with her, but there can only be one, because
I'm gonna be nice for Karsha. I'm gonna be nice.
Yeah, thank you for Karsha, because I look at the schedule religiously, because even when she was signed, I was like, the fact that she said she's not going to stop just at New Japan Pro. Multiverse of matches is in March. What else is in March? What else is after March? After that pay-per-view, it's a Thursday on the 30th, and it's in California. So who do you think they're trying to compete with?
They would need to see. I don't know if this is just me being like.
I'm looking at tickets for it because this would. Yeah, also I'm looking at tickets because not for nothing I love Wale, but fucking hell, like if it gives Sasha Banks at fucking LA.
Wale Mania, Mercedes Mone.
Oh no.
Sorry, Wale.
Oh no.
I gotta work, so I'm gonna be Wale Mania.
I don't know where I'm gonna be.
And then also Capital Collision's on the 15th, so road trip.
Oh.
I already got tickets for that too. I'm just hoping they add Mercedes to that card. I'll be like, come to DC, baby. Come to DC.
I just think like the stage has to be good enough for a Mercedes Mone to make an appearance. Like it would have, like I don't know, like it has Impact been like building up enough for a Sasha appearance. I mean,
but like I said, but
me, you know what? So where it doesn't feel random, like she's just going there to go there.
No, I the real channel.
You know, right.
On the flip side, you gotta look at it from Mercedes' point of view. Now that she's away from WWE, look at it like when the Hardys were going on their expedition to gold, where it's like, I don't care about the fucking promotions. I want to wrestle them because I haven't wrestled X team, Y team, Z team. I haven't wrestled the Bucks. We want to wrestle the Bucks. I haven't wrestled this person. So maybe her going to Impact is like, I actually want to wrestle these people that if this might be my only chance to do it, fucking let's go. Why?
I got a hot take.
Go.
P, say what
I'm
you
waiting for P.
No, because my thing is
right,
like Mercedes Mone is more polarizing than the Hardy Boys in a sense, because it really, really matters where she ends up. Like
more
I know
polarizing.
No, I'm saying like right now. Right now,
you made Seindole walk away. You said more polarizing. Explain yourself.
In this time, like you gotta like we're existing in this time where we go off of like sensationalism. Like Sasha Banks has never fucking Mercedes hasn't said anything, so it really matters where she ends up. She's not just gonna show up anywhere just because she's never been there. It has to be a good setup. It has to be like she can't just like pop up randomly. Like it has to be something, you know. I think the closest thing was like Paige's tag team partner. You know what I mean? Like it has to be like, you know,
I hear
on her
you.
level.
This is the thing.
I hear you. You make a valid point.
I had a hot take, and
Queen
PR took it. She took it.
That's what it was.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. You cannot tell me that the value of a Mercedes Mone is less than the value of the Hardy Boys in 2016. Now, if this was the Hardy Boys in, say, 2000, okay, we can have a conversation. But let's not act like their value wasn't diminished and they weren't glorified indie. They were legends. I ain't gonna say they weren't glorified indie legends. I don't want to disrespect them. But because they had already been removed from WWE and had already went to Impact, Jeff Hardy had his Bountiful Glory moment in 2011 or whatever year that was. It was already, the value wasn't the same. What Mercedes Mone is doing right now, she's worth more than she's ever been as far as a character, not as a human being, but as far as the character. So no, her showing up in Impact just because she want to wrestle, I don't see her doing that. She understands her value. They have like, she's not even going to be seen by 1 million people. That makes no sense. Now, New Japan, that's different because one, that Japanese audience, and then her bringing the American audience. But to show up, if she didn't like, again, like P said, if she didn't show up on AEW television, on TBS, where you're going to probably hit the 1 million in the demos, then I don't see her showing up at Impact Wrestling. So yes, her value is worth more than the Hardy Boys excursion.
I hear you guys. All I'm saying is she's made it clear in that press conference she's willing to go other places. So that's why I don't rule it out. But I agree with you where
that's why I had to walk away, because I don't like the Hardy Boys slander. I don't like that. I've been through, no, pause. It felt like slander. It felt
was facts,
like
even though it was.
It felt like slander.
You know, Jeff's still on his hiatus. That was complete. Like,
it felt like slander. Them boys been through way too much for y'all to be like, they're not as polarizing as Mone. Because I feel like the opinion. Sorry, Brian. I feel like the opinion is a little biased because look at the shirt you're wearing. I feel like it's a little biased. Let's be real about it.
That's an amazing shirt, by the way.
That's an amazing shirt.
Warriorwear.com.
Warriorwear.com. Shout out to my boy Blue. But I feel like the bias is there. The bias is there. Like y'all not seeing the bigger picture. Y'all talking about Impact's not a draw. Bam. But what's gonna give it its draw? Let something give it its draw.
And you also forget Mercedes brings fans.
Right, and it doesn't matter what we think.
So y'all want Mercedes Mone to do Impact a favor?
No, why not?
Because let me show up. No, that's not how Mercedes Mone got
you to watch New Japan. You don't think you're gonna tune into Impact if Mercedes bounces over there to wrestle?
As far as your legacy in wrestling, New Japan is the next step. Impact ain't the next. Like I don't know.
But it is a merger, guys. Y'all have to believe this.
I'm not saying she's never gonna show up. I'm saying that Impact gonna have to step their game up to make it worth it to me.
So do you think she's gonna be selective about the New Japan shows that she does?
No, because of just the respect that New Japan has, and it's really the next step. If you want to be known as one of the greatest wrestlers to ever do it, you have to go to Japan. You have to succeed in Japan. It's the next step. Nobody like, oh, I gotta make it an Impact for people to take me seriously as a wrestler. No, I'm sorry.
I did not expect me to go headshots for Impact today.
Like if Impact,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Am I okay?
No, continue your thought because I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
Like, how dare she consider Impact? But
no.
No, I can see. Okay,
like,
I get it.
I see where P's going now.
It doesn't seem like the like Mercedes Mone is going this way. For me, her showing up in Impact anytime soon doesn't feel like that. It feels like I have nothing left to do. I'm gonna go to Impact, and that's no shade to Impact. But I just don't like. It would have to be like Mickie James did this, like like it would just have to be something so like. Because nobody, if somebody in Impact, let's say, needed a mystery tag team partner, no one's gonna be like Mercedes. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense. But like AEW is on a level where it's like she might just show up there right now. Like this is the hottest time in her career, the most valuable she's ever been. I don't think Impact is on her top list to pop up right now. I'm not saying that it would be dope if she does it, but I don't know. That's
you make a very valid point, P. All I'm just saying is don't rule out anything because we do not know where Mercedes is going to show up until she shows up
or how much they'll pay her.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm putting her if we're going to make a comparison, right? And if Seth Rollins was doing the same thing, you think Seth Rollins is going to show up on Impact to wrestle the Bullet Club? No, and that's the value that I am saying that Mercedes Mone has. So. Like if it don't make shout out to Wealth Warrior, if it has to be a big occasion, if it don't make dollar sense, it don't make sense. And that's what she
said it perfect. Like Impact will have to step their shit up in order to make it happen, but that's on Impact.
And a TV deal.
And also an exciting time because I feel like if I was a promoter, that would be like, yo, we gotta
break the bank.
I'm just thinking as someone that's part of the crew and sees how Mercedes fans operate where where she goes, they go. So she alone is a draw. That will immediately help Impact right there. Whereas not only are you getting Mercedes, you're getting her fan base. Her fan base is going to buy merch. Her fan base is going to buy tickets. Her fan base are going to tweet and give you all the social media shit to where oh, this is when Impact comes on. I didn't know that. But when Mercedes comes on, I'm watching just like you did, P, for Wrestle Kingdom. Where it's I've never watched a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, but Mercedes is going to be on there. Boom. Now I'm watching.
I'm telling you, I'm and y'all talk about if it don't make dollars, if it don't make sense, it don't make sense, right? It's WrestleMania fucking weekend in the California. Why would I, as a promotion, not think, how can I get everybody to talk about me instead of talking about that other event that takes 2 days to do better? And if it happens to do with Impact, Impact's going to be that small little token at the bottom. No one probably will give a fuck about Impact, let's be real. But what they will care about is seeing Mercedes Mone wherever she goes. And that's just the point that I'm bringing up. It could be, it's a maybe, it's a strong maybe. I know all the Negroes probably be at Wale Mania, and I know all the people that don't care about Wale Mania are going to go there. But they're going to be over there humping Mercedes Mone's leg at the chance to see her. And that's just where I think.
Nobody can follow.
I know how these basement feeders are. They
I agree, except for the humping of the leg part. But yeah. because I've
The
seen
fan
it
base is nuts.
firsthand.
The fan
They
base is
are.
nuts.
Hey, we love our goat. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I just don't support leg humping. That's where I draw lines. Unless it's consensual, don't fucking do it. Leave them alone. That also goes for pulling up on them on airports, pulling up on them on hotels, pulling up on them
Following
on
them in
places
through
where
gas station
Oh my
towns. Stop.
leave them the fuck alone.
We must
Because
do
I saw
better.
because I saw them Liv Morgan clips whirling around, and she looked very agitated, but was such a nice person to sign everyone's shit.
And it takes a lot for her, and she's one of the most pleasant people, like wrestlers, like I ever met. She feels like I've known her forever. So for her to actually appear to be upset, she had to be upset. And
and to bring it around to Mercedes. Mercedes is one of the first people that's like, stop doing that shit because I don't like it. I've heard where people have literally pulled up to my gate looking for shit like that, and I don't even give out information. I don't give out information on my hotels. People pull up, but people jump on Mercedes shit because she's not very, hospitable when you meet her in person because of this and that. It's like maybe because
of that.
I'm just coming off an 18-hour flight, and the first thing you're doing is shoving a poster in my face. Like first off, how did you know I was on this flight? Second off, really?
And then not even to pivot off, like I said, I remember reading AJ Lee's book and how she literally was staying in a hotel and someone tried to come into her hotel room and it come to find out it was a manager working for said hotel. Y'all, some of them do too much. You have that chapter. To me, I was like, oh no.
And I think that's why it's important that Mercedes put boundaries out there early in her career. Because now you know if you see she's in the airport.
Nightfire. Look it up. Google it. It's like a clip. She says it. She talks about it on a podcast. Like she literally, there'd be times where she went through a town. She went to the gas station. Somebody followed her from the gas station into the next town. She talked about how this guy was at a meet and greet and literally had his, like, I think 6-year-old son. And they went to take a picture and the guy reached around enough to grab her boob using the child in the middle as a filler. So you couldn't see in the picture. And ever since then, if you see in her pictures, she has both her hands in the front because she don't want nobody touching her. And Punk, and like the fact that she has a husband called CM Punk, the fact that she has a husband called CM Punk, he be in the airport like, don't come near me. There's a match made in heaven. Shit, give me a CM Punk 80 day a week. And that's on period. Because some of you fans, calm it down.
So
stay in your lane.
Do you guys, or is NWA on y'all radar right now? Because I love that one that we're talking about other promotions. But is that a promotion you're excited about right now? Because I know we like the Renegade Twins, and they just became tag team champions.
I was really watching for the Renegade Twins. I really watched for them. They are two of the most deserving, pleasant women in this business. Like the fact that we met them in Philly and like, first of all, we saw them in the bathroom and I geeked in my head. I'm like, nah, they're changing the bathroom. I'm not going to say anything to them. And then they actually walked up to me, Krista and P, and were like, y'all just look beautiful. Then one of the, I believe, I always get the names. She walked up to us and she was like, y'all look beautiful. She's like, you're glowing, your lashes out. She's like, is that, and y'all wearing makeup? Yeah. And they're like the sweetest, nicest, humbling women in this industry. Shout out to them. I was so excited to watch that happen for them. Is too well deserved.
It's one of those things where because of everything that we're blessed to do in this business, we get to see the come up. Like it's like, wow, like we know them. It felt like our friends won the championship, and it, like you said, it was very well deserved. And I want to tune in because of them. Like you said, Seindole, like I watched for the Renegade Twins, so I want to watch for them. And
it'll go pull this match up.
It already feels elevated, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, like they already feel like it's gonna be important now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And shout out to the NWA because I know like when Marty Bell and I'm about to call her by her previous name, I can't think of her. Sienna was champions, it was so much fun watching them hold the tag titles. And like they went on their excursion when they had the belts. I mean, check out the PWI women's edition. You'll see both of them ranked. But super happy about the Renegade Twins getting a chance because, like you said, just getting to see them come up. They've been on a lot of people in our our circle in this community. They've been on a lot of their platforms, so that's been dope to see. And then also, what I'm really excited but also interested about is the tournament that's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the tournament to crown the women's television championship. So that's going to be exciting. You got Tyler Valkyrie and Genocide, which woo,
that's gonna be a banger.
Anybody who watched Genocide, you know she don't mess around.
Sister mean business.
Mm-hmm.
She mean business.
I'm excited.
Not business, business.
I'm just excited to see which women, you know, because you know, you look around on your social media, there's a lot of good women in this business. There's a lot of skilled women in this business. So I'm interested to see who's going to be, you know, chosen for this. We saw this during the ROH tournament, you know, and even the ones that didn't necessarily make the tournament, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering, like, will we see a Trisha Dora? Will we see a Queen Aminata? Who we gonna see, you know? So I'm really excited about it.
Me too. It's a really good opportunity because and shout out to Ella J for Women's Wrestling Talk, because we talked about it on the show, and she was saying how, you know, she commented on how two strong people are the first qualifying match for this tournament, because you would think that one of them would be in it, or even both of them. So it made me want to like watch, because now you can mix all of these. There's so much talent out there. And also for NWA wants to say that there wasn't enough women wrestlers out there to do it in Power 2. So now you have the secondary championship. This is their chance to kind of redeem themselves for that. And like you said, this is going to be a banger of a match. I'm going to find out a way to watch it, because I want to kind of see where this goes and who else is in that bracket.
I mean, they got one of the best world champions too.
Pull up that picture of him, and then we'll evaluate.
Well, I've been summoned.
You see the eyebrow?
Yo, your eyebrows on point.
Dang, everybody can't have like perfect eyebrows like Justin.
Nah, you're not gonna beat my nephew. Like, my nephew's on point. He's 2 years old. You can't compete. Everybody who follows me on Twitter has seen a picture of my nephew. Like, there's a whole, like, it was a Boss Baby theme. I was like, this should have been the Rock theme birthday party, because that eyebrow, like, especially when he don't know you, like, he'll look at you like, bro, why are you here? And the eyebrow just goes up. I'm like, oh my God. To the point where my sister-in-law was like, wait a minute. He does look like The Rock. I was like, I'm telling you, the young ball in the make. I'm telling you.
I'll give him that. These ain't perfect. Just clean them up. Gotta look clean in these streets. Can't be musty. It's like we said in previous.
We had this conversation with the Manscaped stuff.
Manscaped. Don't be musty in these streets.
We had something.
We had a Manscaped whole conversation. Like, you got to get the ball deodorant out there. Justin, and like, we had this with the wrestling event that me and
Canadian destroy a bathroom before you Canadian destroy some seats. Soap and deodorant are your friends.
Soap and water ain't cost nothing but $1.25.
Tax team specialist, deodorant and lotion.
We were at the wrestling show, the big time, and shout out to them, but holy hell.
That's what it was.
Don't be ashy and starting fires with your dry ass kneecaps. Like, take care of your things.
It's simply
this is not it. Yes.
It's not. Oh, no.
Oh my God.
You want to see the champ?
I'll talk about this again.
No sense. Like, it bothers me. Like, why him out of all people? You had Matt Cardona. You had so many fucking
and you know what pisses me off to where I was like, click. Why did they do that to Matt Cardona? Why? It's like they want him to go back to the streets. I'm done with how they're treating him right now, because he was on such a high. He went and he's been killing it ever since he left. Y'all could have gave him that. Why did y'all do that? I'm just not like
for the streets.
Okay. He need to go back to the streets, because they just I just did not sit well with me. And I was just sitting there like
Dom. He needs to find his inner Dom.
He doesn't. He just need to go somewhere where he's respected.
Some hard time.
Yeah, man. Don't drop the soap.
Anyway.
Don't drop the soap.
Oh man. Oh.
So let's take a break, and then we'll get into our Black History Month spotlight of the week, and we'll look back at Chamber, and we'll get excited about this week.
Don't drop the soap.
What up, it's your boy Blue Magic from the Mix Tag Show, and also owner of For Your Wear. Now, I know you've seen the announcement from some of your favorite podcasters, and soon you'll see some of your favorite wrestlers too. I decided to expand my business to be a vendor so people from the wrestling community have more chance to connect with some of their favorites. So check out foryourwear.com to see if your favorite podcaster or wrestler has teamed up with me. If not, let them know they should. Also, if you're looking for a vendor for your merchandise, go ahead and reach out to me at Blue Magic Grind, spell how it sound, or For Your Wear, FORURWEAR. And shout out to those wrestling girls for being one of the first to join me on this journey. Their merch is already up, so go ahead and cop that.
You see the merch.
Get that merch.
You see it.
Get that merch. Also, get their new Black influence design in honor of Black History Month. It is really fire designed.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, I love it. Look at all that Black excellence. So get it while you can.
Mine should be here this week. I'm excited.
Get it while you can. That's the same. And you can also get that Sasha Banks, girl, whatever her name is at this point.
Mercedes Money.
Did he re-release it? Because I know it was on it was limited.
It was limited. What? Oh wait. No, it's not available right now.
Because we brought it back out, but then
yes, I have to remember that.
This is why I got like 2 of them things just in case.
And shout out to Big E because now Big E, and it's a big deal for Blue, and I'm so happy for him because guess what was on his stories? Big E is now officially wearing a Those Wrestling Club sweatshirt because of the Wrestling Club.
So yeah, shout out.
Can we get that in blue? Like, can we get that released in
blue? That blue is gone apparently.
Oh my! I know. I'm mad because I'm like, yo, that's my favorite color, and I can't get this.
Yeah, it's a great color.
That's all right. We got it in red.
No, the red is like amazing. And I like that you got all the vibrant colors. But speaking of Black influence,
and shout out to Brian.
And shout out to Brian's. I want to go into who we are spotlighting this week for Black History Month. I don't remember whose pick this was.
Mine.
It's Brian's pick.
Let's get into it, Brian.
So this week we're gonna celebrate the one and only Miss Ariella Nix. I might have got a chance to catch her at Black Wrestle Fest this past summer. But she has done a lot. And even, sometimes taking a break and coming back. But, she's a former Victory Pro Wrestling Women's Champion, Capital Wrestling Women's Champion, Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Champion, Catalyst Wrestling Women's Champion. She's been somebody who's also done a lot of promos, done a lot of managing work. And, if she got to get interfere in a match, do what you got to do. Sometimes you have to do that to make sure the person that you're managing is winning. But shout out to Ariella Nix, always a huge supporter of the community and, the podcast community as well. So we want to shout her out.
Yeah, she's very, very warm person. I love when you're like approachable but like, you get in the ring and you ever meet a wrestler and they're like the nicest person and they get in the ring and you're like, okay. So it was like it was one of those. So I'm glad we shouted her out, especially someone on the MVs.
It's funny you say that, and not to off navigate that, but like people talk about how Darius Carter is in the ring compared to like, especially Nick. That's what Nick Shin, because him, like you'll see Darius Carter the way he is in the ring, and then I'll go and say goodbye to everybody, and the first thing you see is Darius Carter, like Darius in a circle, literally sharing knowledge and being approachable with every person he's worked with. That's the type of person that Ariel was when we met her. That's exactly how she was. And you watch her wrestling, you're like, oh shit, wait a minute. Whoa. So respect to those who respect the industry, but also when they get into the ring, it's work. It's WORK. And shout out to her for that.
I watched Darius Carter make numerous kids cry.
Yo.
I saw them. It was one kid that came back, and the mom was like, "Oh, he made him," because he was like, he wanted to smoke, and his mom was like, "Oh, that's because Darius made him cry the last time." So he came with his friends. So he had like a little group, and they was heckling Darius Carter, and I was just like, "That's so cute."
But that's the impact you want to make if
Right.
you're trying to be a character.
P, remember at Battle Club when he made that older lady said that thing he got in her face?
I was like, oh no.
Yo, it was like we were sitting there with Stephanie Hardy, shout out to her, and we just watched her like just getting this lady face. I was like,
yo, you have to appreciate the art of a wrestler, especially in the indie scene right now, that can bring that with the fans. Like, and it shouts out. We have a friend who has a daughter who's now fully involved. She's actually Janelle from HR's goddaughter. And she's so involved in wrestling. And I remember the last Battle Club Pro show, the one that was packed, Main Event had lost their tag team championships. And when we spoke to him, P met him because we all went to the after party. He came up to us and I said it was a good match. He was like, yo, my daughter, when Main Event lost, she just started crying. She didn't even want to watch the rest of the thing. Like, she was just bawling. But look at how much she loves Main Event. Like, enough for it to cry when they go through something. Like, that's the impact you want to have. A storyline impact no matter where you go, because it's such a lost art, and you know, with her, that's what you get. So you have to appreciate that when it happens, where it happens.
Yeah, he definitely is a legend. I've seen, shout out to Dre, because we've watched a lot of shows. We've watched Darius Carter together a lot at Battle Club Pro, but I'm glad that, and I think honestly I would like to continue spotlighting like some of the indie talent, like even beyond Black History Month, because you know they're not on TV, and it's really hard to make those connections, to build a crowd, to build an audience, and using social media. So I think, you know, given that platform every week, I think is really cool.
It's the mix, right? Like, we trying to make it, they're trying to make it. You know, one of the people I always give credit to is Mia Yim. In 2011 for a school project, you know, she let me interview her, and you know, from that moment, like, you know, allowed us to build a friendship. So even when she was shortly after her, matter of fact, she was the Impact Women's Champion. You know, I was working with a Fox Sports. I said, "Hey, can I interview?" She's like, "Absolutely." You know what I mean? So you build that trust factor too, because they're trying to protect their brand. So they don't want to say yes to every interview as they climb up. And we're building our brands. We don't want to just have any and everybody on the show. So that's the best thing about this community. So I'm excited about it.
And you talk about Darius Carter, like his match with Faye Jackson is gonna be like, she's wrestling him, I believe soon.
Is that Sunday?
Yeah. I believe it's this Sunday.
The fan club, part of the fan club will be in the building, so I'm gonna represent.
Yes, please represent. Like, that's gonna be a slob. Like, remember, and even her. Shout out to Faye Jackson, because when I talked to her, what'd you say? Wait, what?
No, Brian, you're going. I didn't know celebs are gonna be there.
Wow,
Hollywood Borders.
We need to let me call Peters, aka Soul Press, and see if we can get a theme song from Mr. Brian H. Waters, because he needs Hollywood. Need a melody. You need your own melody.
Vibe though, because that sounds like a good ass match. It really does.
Shout out to all the homies.
Last time I spoke to Faye, which was at Battle Club, and I was like, "Oh my god, we got to get you on the show," because she hasn't been on our show yet, which is wild. And,
she hasn't.
And she was like, "I am which, you know, scheduling and stuff like that." And she was like, "All I'm focusing on is training. Yeah,
because she just came out of retirement, basically.
Yeah, I was like, I totally understand. And I don't know if any of you've seen her recently. She looks amazing. She's in great shape. She's excited, and you know, we spotlight and give our flowers to Faye Jackson all the time. So we are just gonna send her, you know, love this weekend going into this match. And to be Darius Carter, it'll be a banger for sure.
And shout out to the Sweatpants Battle Royal, because girl,
that was good. That was so good.
Oh, they're all wearing
and listen, and it's not even for just Faye.
It's just a color.
I personally like the curious side of me always has been obsessed with Savannah Evans. So for her to win, I was just like, okay. I was like, all right, just give me my reward. Thank you very much for giving me that gift. But yes, she's a delight and a sweetheart, and shout outs to her. Full support on her this weekend.
Definitely. So I hopefully will see you guys soon-ish. I'm trying to manifest a lot of things that seem impossible right now, but I would like to be in DC.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
And
everything is possible.
We got a lot of episodes coming up before that. So
I know, but I really need that positive energy. I really need that positive energy.
No, I got you.
Hold on.
I got you. You know that.
I really do.
Hold on.
We got crystals. Here's my possibility crystal.
Thank you.
Okay. This is the possibility crystal. We're putting in our palms, we're warming it up, and we're putting it in our pocket. Everything's gonna be possible. That's my attitude going into 2023.
Wait, I'm sorry. Have we not seen Kevin Owens since?
We haven't seen him since
the Royal Rumble to Jesus. Yes.
But we also know that what my theory is that the tag team championships are going to be between Sammy and Kevin Owens. I know you don't want it, Justin. You don't want a lot of things, but guess what? It's happening. I don't care what you think. I know you don't want a lot of things. No, sorry, you got me yelling at Justin. Brian, I know for a fact that you don't want that, but guess what is happening?
How I always catch strays.
Because we're used to it by now. I'm sorry.
We're not doing this. We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Lord.
But
I was minding my business.
At Legends on Saturday for the Elimination Chamber watch party.
Join us.
We will be
we gotta get our table
on. I know we got so much. And we'll be watching Mercedes Mone. So follow those wrestling girls on social media. We will be very active on there this weekend. I want to thank everybody that joined us for fan club this evening. Comment section, as always, is lit. I will ask, if you love coming to our wrestling fan club every week where we go into everything that's happening in wrestling, tweet about it. #TWG fan club. Invite your friends. We do watch Dynamite along with you guys, so don't feel like you have to watch either or. We watch it all as a family. That's what wrestling fan club do. And we're here on Twitch every single Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I want to just also shout out our producer, Brian H. Waters, because you definitely put in a lot of work behind the scenes on top of your busy ass schedule. Being a celebrity ain't easy. So I appreciate everything you do. I want to also shout out Seindole and Justin, because you guys also are super busy and you guys put in a lot of work for fan club. And I don't know what I would have done without your support. This was not an easy show to begin with. I apologize for getting emotional, but I am glad that we were able to get together in Cammy's honor. So we're gonna rewatch Royal Rumble, the women's match for 2020 on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So DM me, KRISTA, or those wrestling girls, if you want the link. We'll watch that match. We'll kind of talk about Cammy, all of our amazing memories, and her amazing laugh. So we'll do that on Sunday. And then, of course, watch out for a new episode of Those Wrestling Girls on Monday, part 3. We conclude our Queen of Wrestling series on Charlotte Flair. I'm really excited. I just put a poll up on our Twitter. Vote on what episode we should do next. I kind of already decided on Carmella, but I would like to hear your thoughts. If there's any other women that you think we need to do a spotlight on, let me know. We are on the road to 100 episodes. So this episode on Monday will be our 86th. So help us get to 100. Give us some topics. We want to talk about everything you want us to talk about in the scope of women's wrestling. Catch Krista B and CRISTINA live Friday, 3 p.m. on Twitch for Krista B Sounds Off. And at TWG Classic, we're replaying our spotlight on Jacqueline, Hall of Famer. She broke a lot of ground as well in WWE as a woman. So we're very excited to replay that episode, especially during Black History Month. I think that's all that I have, and I will let my crew.
There's a whole lot going on. That's amazing.
Like,
yeah, like we have we need like our own planner.
Is getting brolic.
The stock is starting to get its index.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Love it.
Shout out to the Queen PR for all the hard work that she puts into the brand.
We're the boss.
And giving us this opportunity to talk women's wrestling. I love women's wrestling. I don't get. Sometimes I feel like I gotta fit it in with the other shows that I do. So like, I love the fact that I've been blessed with this opportunity to really just go in and have these in-depth conversations with y'all.
Same. I love Wednesdays. I do.
You like Wednesdays. I used to hate this day.
I know, right? Yo, growing
up, best day of the year.
I used to hate it as a child. I was like, Wednesday is just pointless. But yeah. Go ahead, Justin.
Thanks to those wrestling girls and AEW, y'all gave me something to look forward to on Wednesdays.
But where can everybody find y'all?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 for those Wrestling Girls fan club with these three beautiful, illustrious co-hosts of mine. You can catch me on Twitter Spaces Tuesday nights around 6:35 for Turnbuckle Talk with Mimi and Corey, where we talk all things wrestling on the Twitter sphere. You can catch me from time to time on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling. Both of those can be found on YouTube. We here, we outside, we active. Go Mercedes.
So make sure y'all check out. I've been very busy. Last week, Jay Bougie on Wrestling for the Culture. This week, Chaz the Don Evans responded to Jay Bougie. So make sure y'all check that out. Also check out, I'm trying to get Khan booked because Jay Bougie has called him out and Khan has answered the call. So make sure y'all check that out. Tomorrow, Prince Machiavelli of Pure Ignorance is coming on Wrestling for the Culture. And then immediately after that, I'm hopping on with the Wrestling Realm on the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Check out Wednesday Worldwide. We talked about Seth Rollins. Will he ever main event the big one? And we also talked about the fans booing Braun Breaker. And tonight,
we didn't even get into that.
And tonight, hop into the Wrestling Realm chat because we're talking whether or not Sami Zayn is the new People's Champion. People were saying it was Cody. At one point, it was The Rock. It was DDP. Mick Foley. Is it Sami Zayn? We're going to talk about that. Myself, the real Dwayne Allen, brother Hugh, and brother Brandon may be stopping by. Brother and the real Dwayne Allen just dropped a new Patreon talking about Wrestling Figures Wednesday back when he used to shop at KB Toys. I also have a Patreon.
That's a throwback.
Yeah. So if you're a Patreon subscriber like P, like Justin, make sure you subscribe so you can read that and then check out my episode where I compare Mick Foley and Sami Zayn. Follow me at Brian H. Waters everywhere.
And of course, it is me. It is your corporate baddie. It is the honorary wrestling girl herself, Seindole B. Mowalo. You can catch me on Instagram at reload.relive. You can catch me on Twitter at reload via film. You can also catch me on YouTube in the future for March 1st. It is the first episode of the Well Minority podcast with a very special and close to heart guest of mine to be revealed. You can also catch me giving this month the biggest shout out I can ever give to our friends over at Black Wrestling Podcast. They're a network like us. Their stock has also gone up. Shout out to the whole team over there, Fam, Math, Cal, Mimi, Drip. Shout out to all of you for your love, support, and your partnership over the years. We'll always continue to support these Black Wrestling podcasts all over. Every Black owned podcast you should be supporting, not just this month, but 365 of the year. You can also go on my Instagram right now. I have a fundraiser going on that I do every year for Valentine's Day. This year I've decided to partner with Right Love Into Her Arms for a fundraiser because that fundraiser goes match with the Well Minority. If every contribution is made, we will be matching by the end of this month. So please, even if it's $1 or 50 cents, donate something, donate today, and give love. Not just on Valentine's Day.
I love that. Definitely support that fundraiser. Follow these lovely, lovely people.
And I just want to say, if you bought wrestling tickets or Beyonce tickets, but you ain't buy your significant other something, consider yourself single after today. And if you ain't donate to my charity, but you bought WrestleMania tickets, I know who you are. So let's not mess this up, okay? All right. Go ahead, P. Justin with that eyebrow. Go ahead, P.
Why I love y'all. I love getting this wrestling fan club together every week. Definitely put a smile on my face every single week. Like, I really look forward to it. And if it wasn't for y'all, I don't think I would like be this consistent. I think this is our 15th episode. So
we're 15 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And we just getting started.
You
think we're slowing the fuck down?
Never. But make sure you guys, when you hang out off the stream, to check out Wrestling Realm. They are also hilarious.
Yes.
And entertaining. So keep on supporting, and we'll see y'all back here next week. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
See y'all on time for the club. Good night. Love you, Camille. Love you.
Love you, Cammy.
Love you, Cam.
Rest easy, Cammy.